Our beautiful country, Guyana, is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. And while we may have so many expo, each expo is designed to engage with different business sectors. Today, we are going to be talking about the International Business Conference that is coming up in October. With me, I have two gentlemen who play key roles in their country. They are no other than Mr. Rahul, who's representing the Suriname Guyana Chambers of Commerce, and we also have Mr. Doerga, who's representing Action Invest for Guyana, that is. I want to welcome you guys to our feature. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And you, sir?
Very well, doing very well, thank you.
All right. So persons are hearing about the International Business Conference. Could you tell our viewers how this all came about?
So, when a chamber starts, it starts with a purpose. And what we found is that our members prefer to have a lot of interactions and a lot of missions done. So, with over half a dozen missions already completed, we found that what's a single spot and a single space for all of us to connect and interact and to have meaningful discussions. Since then, the IBC would have been birthed, and we find that our members are going to get really good value, but it's with an international spin. So a lot of the foreign investors as well is going to be coming in to connect with locals so that joint ventures can be done, and business-to-business meetings can also be pre-scheduled and done as well.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Now I want to hear about Mr. Doerga. How did you first contacted him? Or the chambers first contacted him?
So, Dr. Doerga is actually the founding member and the initiator for the Suriname Guyana Chamber. So he really contacted me through LinkedIn.
Oh. So tell us a little about this, Mr. Doerga.
Yep, so we would have been working along with the Suriname Embassy here in Guyana, Ambassador Lisal Blancandel, and we, over the years of me knowing her and us supporting many Guyanese companies wanting to do business in Suriname, but also Surinamese business wanting to do in Guyana, we came to the conclusion that it was about time to have a Suriname Guyana Chamber to really formally take on that role. And we had the launch on the 31st of August 2023. So we have just celebrated our first year. And as Rahul mentioned, we've had so many missions, and our members continue to tell us that them being able to meet directly with public and private sector partners is exactly what they want. That's the highest value to them. And in May, June, when we attended some other conferences, it became very clear that we needed a conference where we have full control of the conference to really deliver what we believe our members and the business community in both countries really want. So that is how we conceptualized the International Business Conference, and we've had, we're getting really great support from both governments via the Guyana Office for Investment on the Guyana side and the Suriname Investment and Trade Agency on the Suriname side. And also there are many international investors that have not come to Guyana, have heard a lot for the last 5 years, and are ready to now come and visit and to meet with potential partners and on all the stakeholders in Guyana and in Suriname.
How many businesses you have this far, including international?
So our aim is to get to at least 500 delegates. We're expecting about 150 from Guyana, about 100 from Suriname, and over 300 internationally. We're now at the halfway mark. Okay. And we have, on a daily basis, we have more and more inquiries coming in. So we also want to make sure that it's very affordable for local companies, meaning Guyanese and Surinamese companies. So what we have done is we're offering 50% off for delegate passes for companies that are members of the Manufacturing Association in Guyana or the Suriname Guyana Chamber. But we have also now worked with almost 20 other business support organizations to ensure that they can participate as organizations, but also that they can offer their members a reduction in the cost. Because our goal is to make sure that especially medium and large companies in Guyana really get to be on a platform where we all share the same information, but they also have the opportunity to meet with these international companies and international investors coming in. So for the companies that are in Guyana, have gotten to a medium size, getting larger, want to expand throughout the region as well. This would be a fantastic opportunity.
All right, now let's talk. Some persons are wondering these large businesses, like let's say the bank or maybe the insurance company, but we have a small plant shop. Can we get on board as well?
I would say that our goal with this particular conference is for the medium to large companies and to end up in situations where they can grow much larger, because one single large company in Guyana usually has anywhere between 100 to 500 suppliers. And many of those suppliers are small, medium, and micro enterprises as well. So I go to every single conference in this country, and across the world I go to many conferences. And what I see happening all too frequently is that we bring a very large investor in hundreds of millions of US dollars type of investor, and then we put them to talk to the plant shop owner. And it might be a nice conversation, 5-10 minutes, but there's really nothing they can do for each other. And we don't want to make that mistake. I see it made all too often, and the international investor is thinking, well, is this what Guyana, like, how do I do something for this portion? The plant shop portion is looking at this investor thinking, this is way out of my league. I've never even been to my local branch at the bank here. So what we want to do is to have much better matchmaking, so that when people have those conversations, when it's a large company internationally and a larger company in Guyana, they actually already have need for each other and they can get started. And the goal is that that drives the rest of our economy. And of course, our own company is also a member of the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association that just had the Uncapped event. The Uncapped event is so perfectly designed for smaller and micro businesses like the plant shops. I was there. I didn't buy enough plants, but that is a good opportunity where our partners have the ability to create events that are specifically targeted. We have to be careful not to try to create one event that tries to do everything and achieves nothing. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to have events that our intention is to make sure we have deals happening there that affect not just the companies that will be participating in those deals, but every single stakeholder will now be able to fit into that supply chain.
Mm-hmm. Rahul, I want you to tell our viewers, for those persons who doesn't really understand about the International Business Conference, what would be some of the topics that can be expected coming out from this conference?
So the agenda is carefully curated for foreign investors looking for information. So the conference touches on 14 different sectors, and each day there's going to be a specific panel that deals with agro-processing, finance, technology, etc., to really cater for the businesses that fall directly into those sectors.
Now, I know that the Suriname Guyana chambers have been very busy as well, too, because you had Surinamese came over to Guyana for the energy conference this year as well. So tell us a little bit about some of the busy work that the Suriname Guyana chambers have been doing.
All right. So we recently conducted the largest private sector mission where we took 60 companies over from Guyana into Suriname. This was done during the Suriname Energy Conference, where we had over 100 B2B meetings planned. And coming out from those meetings, we have seen a real estate company being incorporated into Suriname. We have seen a non-disclosure agreement signed between two companies to start prefab containers, and we have seen the active trade of mattresses from Guyana over into Suriname, and this is just under 2 months. And we're hoping to see much more of this coming out from the IBC. One of the things that the Chamber prides itself into doing is to ensure that the conversations and the B2B meetings aren't one-off. We want to be the Chamber that really carries through with the conversation. So it's going to be that quarterly call and that follow-up to ensure that the deal is done and to ensure that the conversations are picking up.
Okay. Mr. Doerga, before I come back to you, this question is for either one of you. Can persons expect to see the Suriname, the two countries collaborating to take international business conference to another country?
Yep. So that is already in the works. We are heavily focused on ensuring that this first edition of the International Business Conference really lives up to the expectations that we have. But we already have plans for the launch of the second edition in Suriname in February. And we would love to have a large number of Guyanese companies that want to expand join us on that mission to Suriname. And you will see the announcement coming up later on this month, the exact dates and location, so that as we grow and develop, we can then also determine if we want to take it further afield, if we want to do it in Trinidad and the rest of the Caribbean. We already attend conferences, for example, in the US. We do the Offshore Technology Conference as the Suriname Guyana Chamber, and we want to make sure that we promote the opportunities in these countries. And both governments are very supportive from day one. When we got started last year in August, they were both on board, and the relationship is very clear. We as the private sector will do the heavy lifting that is required because we're actually the ones who have to do the business. And they have committed to ensure that they facilitate and they support what we need as a private sector. And I think when we have that type of relationship, there's very far that we can go. It's never really easy if a business has to solve all the problems, including the bureaucratic ones. And it's never really easy if a government has to help us really push our own business. We all have to play our own parts, and that's exactly what the Suriname Guyana Chamber and the IBC is all about.
Who are some of the key speakers?
Yeah, so we do have all the development banks that will be presenting: the World Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, the IDB. We have the key foreign missions as well that operate in Guyana that will be presenting their outlook of what's happening here in Guyana, and these are from the US, the UK, Canada. Suriname will also be presenting on that particular panel. We are expecting several heads of state, including our own, and all of that is just the first day. We then proceed in making sure that all the attendants get a lot of clarity on the doing business in Guyana landscape. What is our revenue authority all about? What happens at our national insurance scheme? How do they apply for land? Because those are the questions people have on their mind. If they're coming here, they're serious about business. We will also give them a good perspective from what private sector support will be provided. So Rahul is, for example, on that panel to let people know the type of support the Suriname Guyana Chamber can provide. The Manufacturing Association will be there to let people know. We have two of the women's chambers will also be there to let specifically women-owned businesses know the type of support that exists. And then we go into the expert panels, experts in agriculture, agro-processing, manufacturing, infrastructure, everything that is needed to make sure that Guyana's manufacturing sector is set for growth. So we have international speakers from Altera Worldwide. We have companies from Canada. We have companies that are looking at the environment and how things play out there. So it's over 80 speakers that we have over a period of 3 days. And every evening as well, there will be networking and cocktail events, so people can also meet each other in an informal setting and to be able to continue building those relationships. What I would encourage our Guyanese companies to do is, especially the delegates, to utilize the app and start communicating with the companies that they have an interest in. And if it looks feasible, set aside some time where you can also invite the investors and the companies coming in to your facility so they can see how you operate. Nothing goes further than letting them see that what you have said is a reality, because anybody can come and talk to you, anybody can do a PowerPoint, but take them to your facilities. Let them see what you're already doing and what the potential can be.
Mm-hmm. Now, the conference is all about meetings for persons to get an understanding how they can do business or how, the main aim of it. But will they have an expo as well to have businesses set up a booth so that persons can view what the business is offering?
Yeah, we have about 28 booths. What we've done is very strategically we're placing the government agencies that need to provide a lot of information, the business support agencies that need to provide a lot of information, and then organizations that are wanting to highlight their goods, services, technologies, and skills that they believe will be really useful for these markets, for Guyana and Suriname. So we have about 20-something in total. We just did a site visit, actually, to see, well, can we add more? What else could be done? But for this year, our focus is heavily on the meetings, depending on the demand. If people tell us, hey, need to see more booths, we'll take a look at that and just expand on it next year.
For the little time we've been chatting, I can understand that this International Business Conference is very, very important. It's not just the man off the street can just walk in to an expo and say, oh, we just come to see what booths, what businesses are offering. This is serious business we're talking about. So Rahul, tell our viewers, where would this conference be held and the dates?
So it's the 15th to the 17th of October, and it's going to be at the Marriott Hotel.
And registration would have already started.
Registration would have already started. As Dr. Doerga indicated, we are already 50% capacity in terms of delegates, and it's online. So you just go to our website, the International Business Conference Guyana, and you register as delegates. And if you're a member of the GMSA as well as the Suriname Guyana Chamber, you'll be entitled to your 50% discount on your delegate passes.
Anything else we care to share with our viewers before we go? Of course, after this feature, we will be doing follow-up, giving persons update as the conference come down to closure. But what else would you like to tell our viewers before we go?
Well, one of the key things is that in Guyana, we have a lot of family-owned businesses. Many of them are medium and large. We hear often from these family-owned businesses that we're too busy to do this, too busy to do that. I would encourage our family-owned businesses to not be so busy that you don't prepare yourself for what is to come in Guyana. We don't want to become a nation of complainers about other businesses, about other nationalities. Please remember that when other nationalities come to this country, when other businesses come to this country, they're also doing it at great sacrifice to themselves, because they have to leave their home country. They have to come with money. They have to come with expertise. They have to come with a lot of energy and determination. We know what it takes to do business in Guyana. They have to come and face that. So all the best practices that we already know in our head, they don't know. So they're starting from scratch, whereas we know a lot more about doing business in Guyana. So I would really want us as Guyanese to not be in a situation where we complain about anybody coming in. They're making a big effort. And at the end of the day, it's our consumers who choose who they want to do business with. Our goal for IBC is that we create a lot of synergies so that these companies can work together with you. But it means that you have to be ready to partner with the companies coming in. For those of you who are a bit older and think that conferences is not something for you, I would encourage you to look within your family, maybe your son, your daughter, if it's a family-owned business, or your senior managers, if you're already set up as a company, and make sure that they are present. What we will be covering in 3 days has taken me maybe 10 years to learn. So I would pay whatever the price is for entry to learn over those 3 days what someone like myself, who's been in private sector development for 25 years now, this has taken me 10 years to learn, the things that we'll be teaching people over these 3 days, and the connections that will be made as well. Often we complain about not being able to meet someone at this agency or can't get the meeting with that company. The key agencies and key companies will all be there in one place over 3 days. We can only lead you to the water. It's up to you to have a drink.
You're never too old to learn, right? Every day you learn something new. Rahul, what would you like to tell our viewers before we go? And for those persons who haven't signed up yet to be part of the International Business Conference, apart from all that you and Mr. Doerga would have mentioned, what else would you like to tell them they're missing out on?
There's a small window of opportunity over the next 3 days. So carefully look at the agenda and pre-plan your meetings and go to those sessions that you'll get the most value from.
Well, gentlemen, we would like to thank you once again for having this chit chat with us. And if you haven't signed up, be sure to sign up on GuyanaBusinessConference.com. Samantha saying goodbye until our next feature.